worked even farther away. Revna wanted nothing more than for Mama's hand to be the hand that clasped hers now. Mama would find her in the shelter, she reminded herself. They'd be together there, and surely safer than out on the street with the Elda and their aircraft. Mrs. Rodoya opened the factory door and counted each pair with a bob of her head as they went through. Then she grabbed the wooden handles of Revna's chair and began to push without asking. Anger boiled up like an allergic reaction, mixing with Revna's nerves and making her feel sick. She could get herself to work every morning. She could walk it, for that matter. Her living metal prosthetic legs had been called a work of art by Tammen's factory doctors. But Mrs. Rodoya didn't care what Revna or the doctors thought. Now, we want speed over pride, don't we? She'd said in early practice raids. A different Revna would have punched her. But this Revna wanted to keep her job. As long as Revna had a job, there was money to set aside, and extra rations for Lifa. I'll take you the first part of the way, but once the routes split, I'll have to look after the other girls. You'll be on your own, Mrs. Rodoya said. She'd said this every drill, but now her voice had an edge to it, and climbed a little too high as she called out to the rest. Quickly now! The factory girls began to move. Mrs. Rodoya and Revna followed, lurching as the back wheel of Revna's chair caught on a loose stone at the edge of the road. The factories of Tammen Reaching spat out legs, carapaces, rifles, helmets, all that was needed for the churning Union war machine. Oil and dirt coated everything. The brick walls, the windows, the street lamps that never turned on anymore. Even the propaganda posters developed a coat of soot a few days after the paper girls plastered them to the sides of the factories. Revna rolled past image after image of Grusha the good Union girl, her patriotic red uniform already spattered with grease and mud. Don't chat. Gossip won't help build war machines, said one, showing her scowling with a finger to her lips. Night won't prevent us from working, said another. Practice makes prepared, declared a third. Revna found that laughable now. She'd practiced her trip to the shelter so much that she could go there in her sleep. But real life had surprises. Real life had dragons. The eternal lights of the factories flickered out around them and twilight deepened the cloudless sky above. The moon hung like a farmland apple, fat and ripening, and surrounded by stars. A few palanquins scuttled from place to place, grim-faced officials perched at their fronts. There was no army waiting to protect Tammen, no squadron of war beetles assembled and ready. They'd have to wait out the attack in shelters and hope something was left when they emerged. The line of girls undulated as their unease grew. Calm, Mrs. Rodoya said. Calm was easy during a practice raid. With the hum of aircraft resonating against the buildings, calm became a whole lot harder. Revna clenched her hands until she couldn't feel them shake. Don't be such a coward, she told herself. But she hadn't been brave in a long time. Sometimes she thought when the doctors cut off her legs, they'd amputated her courage as well. Maybe the Elda would pass overhead, on the way to do reconnaissance or bomb another target. She knew how selfish it was, hoping that someone else would die so that she might live. But she wasn't thinking only about herself. Every quiet moment meant that Mama was closer to the shelter, too. They made it to the end of the street before the first explosion hit the edge of town. The ground trembled, and a sound like thunder washed over them. Two girls screamed. Revna's pulse throbbed in her ears, drowning out the whine of aircraft. The girls ahead quickened as the balance between order and panic began to destabilize. Calm, girls! Did Mrs. Rodoya have to keep saying that? Left! She called, and they turned, joining the current of workers who emerged from the factories and hurried, heads down, toward their designated